to A Well-Designed Business. My name is Luann Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Longtime listeners, if you're one of them, will know that I rarely get into conversations about the pretty, the actual designs, or even the creative process itself. For the most part, I'm focused on the business, the systems and processes, the moving parts, the things that when they're done right, I know allows your creativity to come to the front. But every once in a while, I make an exception, and today's episode is one of those exceptions. When you hear Lucy Penfield speak, I think you'll understand why. I ask guests to send in a bio of themselves. Sometimes I take snippets of the bios to help me introduce them, and sometimes I don't. But I do almost never, rarely, actually probably a never, just read them off. But part of Lucy's bio speaks to the heart of why I am so excited to share this conversation with you, so I'm going to read it verbatim. Lucy Penfield is a passionate blue sky thinker whose approach to interior design is unparalleled. Her enchantment and zeal for design have followed her throughout her career as an interior designer, lifestyle product innovator, and art aficionado. Lucy loves the magic of transforming space and creating joy for her clients. As an award-winning interior designer, Lucy is recognized nationally for her sophisticated design style, passion for color, and client-centric methodologies. Her custom 6-step approach to bespoke interiors is anthropological and digs further to uncover true meaning for her clients. With degrees in art history, interior design, and design thinking, Lucy is a dynamic, progressive thought leader. She encourages her clients and teams to push the bounds of their realms. I don't know about you, but I already feel more creative and inspired just reading it. Blue sky thinker, enchantment and zeal, the magic of transforming space and creating joy, uncovering true meaning. So, such good words, right? And the cornerstone of our conversation today is the anthropological approach. I hope after hearing Lucy today, you will walk away feeling inspired and motivated to find the real meaning in the work that you do. All right. Now, before we get to our show, I want to just remind you to join me at Luann Live this November 5th through 8th, 2023 in Orlando, Florida. Bria Hamill, Cheryl Luckett, Eileen Hahn, Rachel Bozick, they're just some of the names. Go to luannlive.com to sign up today. All right, let's hear what Lucy has to say about why design is an anthropological process. Hey, Lucy, thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, Luann. I'm very, very excited to be here. Thanks so much.
I'm happy to have you on the show. I mean, we met, it's going on almost a year ago at High Point Market, the fall 2022 market. And I just was so impressed with the panel discussion that you were on with yourself in particular, but your two colleagues also. And I'm trying to think. So it was Tina Ramcham. I can never say Tina's name, and I know her.
Yeah, Tina's just delightful.
Right. And then Francisco was there with you as well, right? And
yes.
Also delightful. But you guys I don't usually go to panel discussions where you're talking about the pretty is what I call it. Like you're
Yes.
talking about the pretty. But it was fun and it was insightful. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I've had Tina on the show. Now I got to get these two on. Like you guys are great. So, and then of course I'm sitting there in the audience and I'm looking at your website and I'm like, holy cannoli, this is a body of work. This woman runs a
Oh,
major firm. And so I was so impressed. And you're just such a nice person, like you're just so down to earth. It's like
oh.
crazy when you see all that success and all of that press and all of those things. And you're like, you're Lucy. You're just a nice lady.
Oh, Luann. Well, thank you. That was so fun, wasn't it? It was in Nutuzzi. It was in Nutuzzi,
Yes.
and it was talking about Italian design, and it was
Hmm.
a very lively discussion and great fun. But I have to tell you, what was fabulous was after, and we were mingling and chatting about great design, and the energy was bubbling, and then I saw you and I recognized you. It really was. So there was sort of this mutual love. And you were with your colleague, and it was like, and I knew that voice anywhere because I'd been following you with your podcast, and it was like electric because
Yeah.
you're plugged in,
Yes. Oh,
and
yeah. I'm plugged in.
you're plugged in, and I anyway. You had a little, so there was mutual love.
Well, what's funny was I was absolutely shocked that both you and Francisco knew who I was. I was like, I literally, because my friend Denise Pugh, so that everybody's probably
Yeah.
thinking, well, why did you go to that event? But I love palling around markets with Denise. And Denise was like, I want to go to this one on this Italian art thing. And I was like, all right, I'll go with you. And she's like, wait, what? Because usually we'll split up or things like that. I'm like, oh, no, I'll come with you. And I had such a great time listening to you guys. That's why I was like, oh, I got to come up and introduce myself and invite you on the show. And you two both like jump on me. You're like, Luann. I'm like, oh my God, do I know you? Like, I don't think I know you.
I know. It was like the fans were coming out of the
Oh, it was
chairs.
so fun. It was just so fun. And we did. We
Uh,
just all hit it off. And of course, like I said, Tina, I've known for years. So she's right here, New York, New Jersey. We've done window treatments for her. And she
she's
she held her own in that group with you too. So it was fun. It was really
yeah,
good.
very fun. Well, it seems like High Point has that electricity. You have the
Mm.
common ground, but we all come from, different parts of the design.
Yeah.
So the connections are great. So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
fun.
yeah, yeah. So, okay, so today, you mentioned something on the intake form that in order to be like one of the things that you think contributes to your success in 3-decade career of interior design, running a pretty good size firm, a lot of people on staff and so forth. And you said, you have to think like an anthropologist. And I said, I want to know what that means, but I want you to save it for the show. So I'm dying to know what this answer is, Lucy.
Well, isn't that great? Well, I'm thinking it may have started as a baby anthropologist. I'm a native Minnesota girl. And what do we do? But we go in the woods and we forage and we look under rocks and we collect moss and pebbles and agates. And of course, they inform us for so much. They inform us in terms of design for spatial palettes, color palettes, and sort of the organic quality of design. So I think that started there as a little baby anthropologist. But then again, I think of discovery. And discovery is what we do every day as designers. We discover what is at the core, what's at the soul, for our clients. And sometimes they have their ideas and their inspiration, but what's deeper than that? So I think so often we look at the top surface, the top layer, maybe the frosting, but what's really underneath it all? And so as an anthropologist, I think we we uncover, we think ethnographically, we think of all the layers. So, really putting on your foraging hat and jumping all in with all limbs and all ears and listening and so I guess that's what I think of as a true anthropologist. I also think of we have to use all five senses. So we're listening to what they say, we're looking, and then we have sort of the scientific part. So I think that gets into the cross discipline disciplinary part of our design process, but
I
so
love it. You know what's interesting is there is a reoccurring theme over the last 7 years of interviews. Um, it's typically a very seasoned interior designer, m usually 20 plus years more of experience, that will talk about design at this level, at this
it's interesting.
uncovering discovery level. I'm thinking Layden Lewis talked like this.
Yeah.
Daryl, last name is escaping me right
Yes.
now, but we'll put the
Yes.
episode in the show notes. I can picture his face. Great gentleman. Um, and others, and I will think of them and we'll put the episodes in the show notes. But there is, I think, and I'm not saying that lesser experienced or
Mhm.
designers that are newer in their career
Yeah.
aren't actively also finding inspiration and thinking about design from a deeper layer, but
Mhm.
it's the seasoned ones that always bring it up somehow. It's crazy.
I think, that's interesting. I think we learn almost like an archaeological dig. You start to uncover the layers and peel back the onion, so to speak. And maybe it's with our life experience
Hmm.
and trials and tribulations that we looked like a scientist at the first layer, but did we really miss something?
Yeah.
And so I think that's what through the maybe is that what gives us that extra layer also in the design beauty, uncovering um, something very a little more sophisticated. But that's
Right.
so interesting.
Yeah, and I think it does. I think it does translate to the design being elevated, more elevated, and it's
Elevated.
I just got it. Daryl Long came to my head.
Yes. Yes.
I knew I would get it. Um,
It'll come.
yeah, yeah. And so, but that's the truth. It's like there's beautiful. It almost seems like, and this is no knock on a lesser seasoned
Yeah.
designer.
Yeah.
It's there's creating something that's beautiful, possible, right? Lots of
Yes.
talented people, but what I've heard in those of you like that talk like this, it is that consistently looking further, and like I love that you said peeling away the onion, and it's almost like you could look in a room and keep discovering things in that room when you're
Yeah.
designing at that more elevated level,
I
right?
think that's so true. And as you were chatting, I was also thinking it's there's the aesthetic beauty, the layers of physical sight and beauty in the room, but there's also the deeper soulful emotional part that I think gets that is evoked as you meander through, as you
Yeah.
experience it or live in it. And maybe as baby designers or emerging designers, we're I laugh and sometimes say, yeah, I'll never forget the day that I couldn't get the sofa down the basement door or had to
Right.
take the hinges off or oh gosh, the sectional, how do we get it up in the New York studio?
That's
uh,
it.
so we're looking at those layers in those beginning years. Then we now have learned them. We've learned through it all, and now we have the ability to really dig deeper, like the anthropologist, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think it's great. So the thing is, what you did share with me before was that thinking like an anthropologist and always challenging yourself to look deeper and look beyond just surface in the design, that led you recently in the last what 8 years or so to go
Yes.
for another master's degree. Like, you got nothing but free time,
Y-
but you got a degree in design thinking, and that's
Yeah.
interesting. What is that about,
Oh my
Lucy?
gosh, it was so fun to be a student again. Well, I guess we're always eternal students, and that's why I love getting up in the morning is, what do I get to learn today about design or just life in general. But I think I really wanted to elevate my thought process and my cognitive thinking in layers that weren't just about art, design, culture, but was through in business and science. So the cool thing about design thinking is the combination of all these different arms. And sometimes I think of the bodhisattva, with all the
Yes,
multi
yes,
arms.
yes,
You're the
yes.
psychologist, you're the designer, you're the artist, you're the business owner, you're the, you know, all
Great
these,
analogy.
yeah, the philosopher, and you've got to like juggle it all. And, um, but
Did you
I,
say marriage therapist to your clients too, right? Got to be
yeah,
that too, right?
yeah. Oh gosh, are we ever? Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, we get so intimate. And so I think what was cool about the design thinking, um, I went back to the University of Minnesota, and it was a special program in the liberal arts department, and it was very thought provocative. And what was cool was all the professors were the top of their game in their field. So we would have this smarty pants business guy, and then we'd have, this very serious scientist, and all these different educators. And each day I'd go into a new class, and I'm like, I'm going to think like a scientist today. And then we'd come back with, not quite the beaker, but we'd layer it in and realize that it's all part of the science of textile science, which of course
Mm,
we learned, how do, we create these synthetic yarns. So I think was as immersed in these rooms with these other students as well. There
mm,
were fabulously smart, um, business minded.
yes.
And so layering all of that. Yeah, but that was
And
fun.
was it a program called, when it's called design thinking, was it a program that was across the different disciplines of design, or was it interior design thinking, or were there like graphic designers and product designers and all those other types of design in there?
It's interesting. It was not in the School of Design. Our University of Minnesota College of Design has, but it was unrelated. That's what was so remarkable, and why I thought, I could pave new ground, learn a new language. So, no, it was outside of
Mhm.
the College of Design, and ended up with a master's of an MS actually,
Mm.
which was cool because I had a BA in design and art history. So yeah, it was really, really fascinating. And it was at the time, as you said, 7, 8 years ago, it was a uh, newer sort of department.
Okay.
And so it was all breaking cool ground together.
And it sounds like a place where you just are encouraged and forced to think differently, right? To think
Yes.
out of the box, challenge you to look at design through the lens of science or business or whatever, right? That's what it almost sounds like. Just like we're going to approach this differently, right?
I think so, and I think for as designers and going students of design, the programs throughout the country. There's so many fabulous ones, and they teach us, all the different softwares and programs and how to work on our projects and draw and all of that. But they don't really touch heavily on business, and so many, a huge, and maybe you know this, but the ASID, American Society of Interior Design, 67% of the ASID members throughout our country are small businesses. They're small business owners.
Mm, right.
And we really need to know the art of business,
Right. Hello. Yes,
right?
I agree.
And
Yes.
and human resources. And so
Yeah.
I feel like this helped me um, in those avenues that I might not have been as strong in.
Love it. I love it. So, thinking about this program that you were part of, You just mentioned it helped you in avenues you might not have been as strong in. So, what are some of the outcomes for you, Lucy, in having taken part of this program? And what are maybe some of the ways that you brought it back to your business?
Yes. Okay. Well, what was really exciting was I ended up working on a special thesis that I actually did a presentation at the College of Design in our Rapson gallery, and created a special design process that we utilize today in our studio. And it's really 6 steps. They're a little organic, like design is. We kind of move from step to step. um, but it starts with a sense of discovery, like the anthropologist that we talked about a little bit, all the way through to the celebration, and we call it the party when we do the reveal. But these so I think not only did I gain something for myself and further growth, but we were able to bring it to the studio and use it and continue to develop and fine tune it today.
Okay. So at this point you're in business more than 20 years.
Yes.
I recognize it's first of all the body of work that you have, Lucy, and the number of accolades and awards and press that you have. This is not somebody who's just like sort of winging it, okay? Like, yeah, I know you're running a good business, okay?
Thank you.
Um so the thing is, there had to be some sort of process in place. But what I'm hearing is after doing this master's in design thinking, you then formalized a 6 step process, or like what? Because I don't think you're going to sit there and tell me that before that you didn't have a process, right? So it's just, was it a refinement of it, or was it like, tell me, what was the before and after?
Yes, no, I think you're right. I think it's some of it was we go through these processes, and probably many of the designers that you've interviewed and many of the fabulous ones we admire today follow a similar process. Sometimes if we've identified the stage we're in, we realize we really dig deeper. And before we straddle, kind of the bridge, before we jump over to the other side, we hover a little more deeply into that phase. And I think that's helped us sort of identify a timeline,
Mm,
and identify a process that we can share with the client a little more clearly, and they can understand more clearly where we are in the step. Because once we get through, and we can talk about them that briefly if you'd like to.
sure.
I think some are we hover lightly in, and some we dig deeper in, and some are more studio based and others are interactive with the client. But I think it's helped us identify where we are along the timeline, emotionally and artistically.
So the thing when I thought was super interesting, Lucy, is a few moments ago you mentioned how through this elevated, like this program of making your brain think, it's almost like teaching you to think, right? Think in
Yeah.
a different way, right? And you said that, acknowledging, I think, if I speak for you a little bit, acknowledging that, of course you had a process, but part of what happened was that this helped you, and this is what I want to check on. It sounded like it helped you focus on the 6 steps, but also by identifying it, you said that your team was able to dig deeper here.
Yes.
And what I was hearing was, and I want you to tell me if I'm right. What I was hearing was, it's almost like if you know you're in step 2, it's don't rush and start to do things that we know are coming in step 3. Let's
Yes.
stay here in step 2 and make sure it's all done. Is that little clarity that you got by going through? Is that what you were describing?
You did it perfectly, Luann. That
Oh,
is so
good.
true. I think of it like too when we're learning a language, and you can get yourself. Let's say you're learning French, and you think you're close, but your French teacher, quickly reminds you, okay, that was
Far
not
away
a
you
good.
are.
Right? Not a good pronunciation. But yet by human beings, we want to jump to the next
Yeah.
stage. So I feel like for us, what's helpful is it's a reminder. Maybe we aren't quite finished in that stage. Maybe there was another rock to uncover,
Yes.
or maybe we needed to listen a little, ask a few more questions to with our clients and chat a little bit more. So I think it's a mutual reminder within our team, and also, as we're having the conversations with our clients, we can't jump ahead yet. Wait, let's not get to the furniture, fine tuning the furniture. We still need to work on our palette for the building the house and the material. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good, gentle reminder for um, both partners.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, you said to me, you listen to the show, we talk about process all the time, but
Yeah.
there is such clarity in the way you are describing how it hits you now. It's like,
Hmm.
and it's funny because you mentioned learning a language or whatever, and what it hit me was I can remember when my daughter was about, I want to say 3 years old, it struck me how I had spent a good part of her 3 years wishing away the stages. Now, I was a
Yeah.
good mom. I did all the things, but I did spend a good part of 3 years. Like, I can remember when she was just born. I'm like, I can't wait till she can look at me. Oh, I
Yes.
can't wait till she can smile. I can't wait till she can talk. I can't wait till she's out of diapers. I can't wait. And when she was 3, and I remember this one day very clearly, I put her shoes on and I went back to the bathroom to finish brushing my teeth or whatever because I had to get her to preschool and get to school. And I came out
Yeah.
and her shoes were off. And then I put them on again. And then I went and picked up my pocketbook and did something. I came out and her shoes were off. I mean, there were like
Yeah.
4 times. I was like, oh, sweet Jesus, for the love of everything holy, leave your shoes on.
Oh,
And I remember I was so angry. And I said, I can't wait till she can just do her shoes herself. And it
yes.
hit me that I was
Yes.
wishing through the stages. And so,
It's true.
right? And I love
It's
what you're
really
saying. It's like you're
true.
in this stage of the process. The
Be
team yeah,
in
the team can't wish it away. The client can't wish it away. We gotta be in it, right?
be in it, and I think that's that. Yeah, you get so deep in it that then you've uncovered everything. You're ready.
Yes.
You're ready. But that is true. I think we also, and in construction and in design, you have your timeline. It might be a 2-year process. And you're absolutely right. Many times our clients are already thinking of the end goal. When is it going to be done? When is it going to be done? And rushing through it, either the construction wise, that's not smart. You want everything to be perfect. And through the design process too, is we learn so much more and we find so much more. And if we're juggling budgets or juggling design aesthetics for partners, I think just by our nature, and I think as in our country, I feel like, I don't know, we're just charged ahead. We're fully charged ahead. Maybe some of
Yeah.
the other countries take it a little slower pace, a little,
Yes.
right, more
Yeah, it's
gradual.
true.
Yeah.
It's true. But I really, that is so tangible to me that
Mhm.
from a business perspective, that, and you keep saying, are there more questions here? Is there more to discover here? Is there more to uncover here? It's like, is this step fully executed, right?
Yes.
Fully. Because when you fully execute each step, that's when you are delivering an elevated experience
It's
because you're
true.
not saying, oh, you know what? We're not going to do that this part this time. It's fine. We're going to skip that. And you're not convoluting the process by popping back
Yes.
and forth, right?
Yes. I think
Genius.
I think that is really true, and everybody feels together. If the client,
Mm,
because sometimes I think it's getting that the your tandem on a tandem bike with your
mhm.
client, and one might be charging ahead and the other is sort of putting on the brakes, but is just a reminder, we're in this, it's a little messy, maybe we're they like doing a walkthrough with the client, and they just want the drywall up, they just want to see and feel the space, and then they get the drywall up, and you're right, like your daughter
Now they
with the
want the molding up
shoes.
and they want the paint done.
Yeah, 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 and it's just like, "Oh, just wait." It's actually more magical, um, and there are parts that you see more clearly, like the art of seeing,
Right.
um, it's it unveils itself, I think, when we pace it a little more smoothly.
Yeah. I mean, and again, like you just made me feel and hear that analogy again because if when your client is wishing for the drywall, then they're wishing for the moldings, and then they're
Yeah.
wishing, they are missing, like you said, the magic of a freaking house being built. Like,
Yeah.
understand, like, this is a really cool thing that's happening. And it reminds me, like, if I had taken the time that day, instead of being aggravated, instead of just keep putting the shoes on, there might have been this first time it ever occurred to me there might
Yeah.
have been an interesting, fun moment while I watched a 3-year-old unlace her shoes and take them off. That
Yeah.
could have been a fun moment where just watching her little brain go, how do I, because why else would she have been taking them off? Because it was
Yeah.
probably, I can do this.
I know, it was so much like I could do this. But, it's funny, Luann, I was thinking, because I can tell you have that plugged in, go get 'em, right, attitude, and you do that with your business and certainly as a mother. And I think I have, and I'm plugged in all elements, just zinging like a battery crazy. And I have this wonderful friend, Linda, she's just gentle and she's calm,
Oh,
and she was a wonderful college roommate, and she's in it. And I could see she would have, with your daughter's shoes, she definitely would have been, oh,
sat
sweetheart,
down.
let's look at that. Here, show me again. So I get it. You just, yeah, I get it. No stopping you.
That's it, right, right. But it's a good reminder, and what I love about it is the lesson is that it's a great mechanism for you as a designer when the client is rushing through the process to be
Yes.
able to have this, hey, we're in step 2 now. Let's all take a
Yeah.
breath. Let's take a
Yes.
beat. Like step 2 has to
Yes.
be finished and we're going to do it to completion and then we can start daydreaming about the things that are in step 3. You know what I
R-
mean? So,
Right.
I love it.
What's interesting too, I'm thinking, I'll never forget my wonderful mentor, Tom Gunkelman, and I worked for him for 10 years, fabulous, um, and in Minneapolis. I also I interned with him as a young student, then worked for 10 years. Anyway, I'll never forget the when we're talking about the different stages. I loved the discovery and the hunt and gather and the hunt and gather, and I'd get more fabrics and layering them on and layering them on. And I'll never forget Tom said, "Honey," and it wasn't in a condescending way because he's
Yeah.
just a fabulous guy, but he said, you've got it. You're ready to move on. You're ready to edit." And I thought he knew through experience that we'd fine-tuned. So there's also not only do we how long do we need to stay in it till we've uncovered all the rocks, but then there's also that fine tuning and straddling of, okay, okay, girls, let's go.
It's time to
We're
get out.
we're ready to go. We've done our homework. We've now, we're ready for the presentation or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
So I guess that's all the art of balance and
Yeah. Well, and
yeah.
I love that. That's a very positive, empowering way to let a junior designer know that more is not more, right?
Yes.
Right? It's like you're spinning your wheels, you're always gonna find another beautiful fabric, and you
Yes.
could see some principals, I'm sure, are hearing themselves right now. They've looked at a junior and went, "Hey, there comes a point where you have to stop." And, like, that's fine, it's legit to say, but
Yeah.
what I heard there was, "You did it. You did such a great job hunting and gathering that
Yes.
you're ready to edit." Like, and that's a whole different feeling than stop wasting time and now start picking, right? It's like
Yes.
the spin. It's like the spin the quarter one way or another, and it's the same sentiment, but one is empowering and the other is like, "Oh, did I do something wrong?" Right?
Right. No, I think that's what's really beautiful about um having a mentor and mentoring and a mentee relationship, which is also with a client.
Mm,
It's interesting because you're really fine tuning that trust and that understanding. And sometimes they're at that point, you can see they're ready and it's tied up in a bow. We don't need to look at more tiles. They've seen enough and they're ready.
right.
Even though we might, as designers, think there might be one more to uncover, we're ready
Yeah.
together. The team, which, yep, this is a
Read the room. Read the
read
room,
read
right?
the room. You're right. Oh,
Read
the
the
art
room.
of reading the room. I love
That's
that.
it, that's it. So the 6 steps, what
Yes.
is your 6-step process? What are
Oh,
the top layers?
okay. The number one where I just love is that anthropologist, the discovery. So to discover is the art of listening, and where we take a lot of really understand what the client is looking for, of course, that we all do as designers, and you do as well, is what are your really clients looking for. um, but it's finding some of those universal truths, outlining the real emotional as well as the physical parts of the process, and taking inventory. So we'll take inventory of what they might have in their existing home, but all of the emotional, the budget, the physical, the relational part. So that's our kickoff, and that's very fun. And then we start to do shift into the groundwork, which is explore. So the second step is the exploration or explore, and it's synthesizing all the information, divining kind of the design DNA, and you're still doing a little bit of that hunt and gather and the discovery process, but now we're really starting to narrow down. And those are busy times on the design end and a little quieter for the client. We're doing
Mm,
a lot of the behind the scenes,
mm,
where on the front discovery it's very engaging with the client. We're getting to know each other. um, then we shift, and it kind of morphs back and forth organically into what we call, the ideation or ideate. And so that is where you're building the design concept. You're continuing to define the design DNA, of course, even further, but we're starting to put things in place. You're laying down the furniture. You've started to collect the materials for construction. You've started to talk about your fine tuning during lots of meetings.
mm,
So the ideation, there might be ideation offsite as a team, that our Lucy team will create together, but also it's ideating with the client. Maybe we've presented mood boards and have these 3 teaser palettes, but now we get to dig in and explore together and really identify what that palette is.
cool.
So that and there's this hovering in the blue sky mode, where I call it hovering, up in the 30,000, foot level, but you
Yes,
also have to be grounded, and what's the real reality? What's going to work?
right, okay.
And so I would say those three, discover, explore, and ideate, relate together, are good friends that you organically shift. And then we start to evolve the evolution of the design project. We're getting closer to, we've built, there might be architectural models. The architect is working on sort of finished drawings. We're working on elevations. We've now getting to the specifications, and all of that is we're collaborating heavily with the team, with the whole design team. And that is very exciting. Of course, we've been collaborating all along with the design team, but now we
Mm.
really know, we've got to put our boots on the ground and
Okay.
and
Okay.
pull it all together. We've got our client feedback, we've got the direction, and so that'll we're ready to shift to what we call the actualizing moment, or the implementation. So that is often the quiet time for the client. The client probably wonders, "Hello,
Where are
is
you?
anyone? Yeah,
Right?
where are you? We were so close at the hip. We were when we were dating."
You never call me anymore.
You never call me. And of course, we are busy, busy, busy behind the scenes. We're
Yeah.
we might be ordering, we'll be ordering the furniture, doing all the purchase orders. We're the specs have been defined, the construction is well, or the remodel's well underway. um, but we are implementing everything, and to really capture the dazzling results and the dazzling design. And
I love that.
that requires a lot of other skills, more than we've known, right, in the last couple of years, the actualizing, or the implementation. And then my second most favorite, I don't know, maybe my most favorite, is the party mode, the celebrate. So that's the jubilee, when we move in our client, or the day of the reveal, which sometimes can take several weeks, as you know, because we'll bring
Right.
in the drapery, and that's the beauty, which you're so good at. And you install the window treatments and wallpaper and your carpet runner, and then the furniture comes, and then we really are in party mode.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I love it. What I love, Lucy, is, of course, I've heard many designers articulate their steps, but I don't remember who taught me this in branding. It was probably a combination of many conversations with Nicole Heimer of Glory and Brand, with Kay Whitaker,
Yes.
and others, where you have to have a point of view. You have to
Hmm.
have a point of view to stand out, and probably Fred Burns as well, um, and probably some of the editors that we've had on the show also have talked about it. And the thing is that you're what's so cool here is, if you take the whole body of your previous conversation up until the point that you listed your steps, there is a way that you talk about your design. You talk about it in relation to the art of listening, the science of this, the business part of that, the expanding my box, think designer, thinking, master's program. There's a way that you've been describing it. And then your 6 steps, you've actually named them, that's in line with that way that you think, right?
Oh.
Because, think about it, because we have discovery here, right? We have explore. Okay. We have ideate, evolve, actualize, and celebrate. Now, I'm going to
Yeah.
take a stab. I've had a billion. So discovery, could be discovery. A lot of designers might use that. But explore is typically like design phase. Like they call it
Hmm.
design phase,
Hmm.
and then ideate, is like the presentation phase or something. I don't know. I don't know the
Yeah.
damn phases. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
the idea is that it's so authentically you. And this is really the essence of what this show is. It's like you have to have foundational business, you have to
Mhm.
have business acumen, you have to explore your brain, expand your brain to learn the business side, but you still keep it as you. You don't just do the cookie cutter of another designer. Like, this is outstanding, Lucy. I love
Oh,
it.
oh, I love that. Thank you, Luann. This is so fun. It's fun to chat about it, and you're so dynamic, and you get like as you said, the phases,
Yeah.
and because you follow them in your world in the window treatments, and but it is fun, isn't it?
It is, but, like, I think you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and it's really it is personalizing it
Hmm.
to what lines up with you. Those
Hmm.
words, we could pull out we could probably put on Google right now, the 6 steps in a design process. We're gonna come up with the things, and they're not really technically going to be different, but you have named them in a way that is branded to you. It's
Hmm.
just so outstanding, and I'm sure it probably happened organically because that's what happens with being seasoned. Now you stand in your Sandra Funk space and you just say, "This is
Yes.
the way I think. You could call it
Yes.
this, but I'm calling it explore. You
Right.
could call it this, but I'm calling it celebration." Like it
Yeah.
just is you, right?
Yeah, that's so fun. Well, the truth is, Luann, I just like a big party. I love a party. I love the anticipation of the party, which is discovery, right? Like a new project. We'll get a call for a new project, and I'm like, I'm all in. Oh, yeah. I'm like, "Okay, the hunt and gather mode," and then I'm like a horse in the barn, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." And then, of course, everyone else on the team is thinking, "Okay, we gotta, like, wait, just wait, just wait." I always get ahead of myself. And then but we're really striving around those steps, and it's really this organic, beautiful
Yeah.
circle that's in the center it's client centric. It's really
Yeah.
it's almost like a sun that are the
Mm,
rays, I think,
mm,
and then at the center is the ball. I really
mm.
think it's the client because that's what
Yeah.
we do. We're just here to serve and to create joy and beauty for our client, but we get to do all this other fun stuff but I think after the hunt and just the hunt and gather and the discovery process, I'm just waiting for the party. To pop the champagne and deliver flowers and tell them to go away and have a spa day and
Yeah. Oh my
uh
goodness, that's crazy. That's
yeah.
awesome. I love it. I just think it's so good. Um, if I said to you, Luce, give me an observation, a lesson, beyond these things,
Yes.
looking back on the 3 decades. And it doesn't have to be, don't make your brain go, what's the number one thing? Just
Yeah.
something, an observation that you would say, the typical line, what would you tell the Lucy who opened her business 30 years ago? Like that sort of just
Okay.
something.
I like that. Gosh, I would say be ready for the rambling road and that journey. Be an adventurist and be nimble
Mhm.
because I think we think, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to launch my business. I'm ready to go. Giddy up. And then you're like, okay, well, the horse is left. Let's giddy up. But you're really not sure where you're going. And then the road less traveled is be ready for it. And so I think sometimes is looking and are there signs, and I think I've had various signs. Some are life-changing signs. I think as women sometimes I think we have multi lives, right? And so there are things just as we grow and change and we hit different milestones, but sometimes there are signs in the universe, where I'm thinking, like, we had an opportunity to do this crazy design challenge for the Food Network with Tyler Florence at the helm, and and it was absurd, actually. I mean, like, what designer in their right mind would do it? We had 24 hours to designed two sort of sets for different two opposing um, restaurants, and then there was kind of a winner. And we were building the set, we were doing this. I
Oh
don't
my
know why I said yes, right? I was like, "Oh, no," but it was in the universe, and I feel like so being nimble or take the signs that come your way and and shift or pivot as you need to, and that's okay. You might have
Mhm.
this great picture in mind, and sometimes they might be signs or they might be self-inflicted. I think we're launching a new studio, Luann, and I've been at this beautiful design center, International Market Square, which is our
Ooh,
regional design center. We have 45 showrooms. There are, oh gosh, 20 designers and architects. We've been here 18 years. I love it. We have
right.
so many friends, right?
Yes.
You know how you get so close to your fellow compatriots and showrooms and everything. But I was like, okay, I could do this for another 10 years and sign a new lease. Or, or let's have a little wild card, and just jog in a new path. And so we're opening a street side studio and a little shop in Wayzata. It's a little boutique town of little village of
Wow.
3,000 on the lake outside Minneapolis. I mean, who would think, right?
Right?
Why not stay right here in this beautiful design center? But scramble
That's
it
a
up.
big move. That's a big move. That's a like I don't even know anything more than what you just shared with me, but my brain immediately goes to, right now I'm in a design center. So if I need to source something, I just get up from my desk and go up to a different floor. I
Yes.
get on the elevator, right? Now I'm going to be out on a lake. Okay. 3,000 people. Okay. They better be 3,000 people with a high demographic, Loose. I'm pretty sure. But, like, wait a minute. It's just like that's a big, and also, what my personal experience with when we've changed retail locations, the first time we opened up a retail store back in 82 or 83, whatever it
Yeah.
was, I've told this story before. We opened it next door to a high end boutique hair salon. Like, it was like the Shishi hair salon.
Yes.
And we thought, it was the greatest idea since sliced bread. There's our target client, the upscale woman, 35 to 50 years old, who, takes care of herself, spends money on herself. She obviously is going to take care of her home and spend money on her home. And for the 7 years we were there, we were completely tortured by women who did have money, who mostly did not work and just wanted to look at the pretty things in the damn showroom.
Oh
And we were just like,
gosh.
oh my God, I'm trying to work here. Oh, my
I
place.
You need draperies. You need
That's
you need
it. Was
window shades.
it was crazy, and you had to treat everybody, obviously, with respect because you didn't know. Like, today, she really wasn't interested in drapery. She was just looking at the pretty things while she waited for her hair appointment. But in 6 months, she might really need draperies, or she
Yeah.
might be playing tennis with her friend that afternoon who needs draperies. And so when that lease was up, we ran out of there like bats out of heck, and we went out to an industrial space where there was nobody there, So I guess really all I'm saying is, you're not just changing a studio in the same environment. You're going to a completely different demographic that's going to hit your business in different ways, positive and
Yeah.
negative. And it's interesting that you're doing this at this stage because you're like fully could be on autopilot. Like, let's just keep doing what we're doing. This is good. It's working.
Remember we talked about the design DNA? Well, there's the physical DNA. I'm like, charged, let's go. No, but I think you're right. It's that same point where I went back, with the masters and the design thinking is this is exciting. You
Yeah.
get up in the morning and you could get up and be like a ho hum, or you can like show up. And so I think the fun is we have an opportunity to grow, and we have a great team of really fun, creative designers, and it's an opportunity for them to grow and explore and have new opportunities. I think we're all like, okay. what if the door keeps opening and they want to buy pillows and a vintage, we're having all kind of one of a kind things. And my I said, I'm just going to bring my puppies down and it'll be a party fest. We're going to have the coffee brewing and the cocktail machine brewing. And so I don't know what we're getting into, but I think it's going to be fun.
Oh my God, you're
I
a nut.
told you I
That's
like a
so
party.
funny.
And we'll do some design in between, I think. uh,
Pretty soon you're gonna be like, wait, you want to hire me? Like you don't want to just sit here and have margaritas and look at the
Yeah,
lake?
yeah, yeah, that's okay. That's okay too. But we do have, it's been fun because I have paper up on the studio and we're next to some Jay McLaughlin is just down the studio. So it's a cool village and
Oh,
lots
fun.
of hot restaurants and in
Oh my gosh.
little boutiques and one of a kind anthropologies down the way. And but um the paper, is up that says, Lucy Home Decor, Lucy Interiors, and see you soon. And I've had more friends and clients like, stop, wait, what's going on? So they think it's exciting, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep you posted, Luann, and we'll
Yes.
be open when I see you at fall market. So
Okay.
I'll keep
Oh
you
my goodness.
posted.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank
I love that you're just like, yeah, let's just take on another challenge. Like, status quo is not good enough. Let's bust it out again.
Well, how about Martha Stewart? She just keeps reinventing herself at
I know.
83. That
I
girl
mean,
does not roll over.
that is crazy. How about that? Like she was on the cover of what is it? What do they call that? Swimsuit something or other.
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated swimsuit
Yes,
edition.
Sports Illustrated. No, she's the bomb. We saw her at a Future of Home chatting, and I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
God, you look great. And you sound great, and you're so smart. And think about it. She was just when she came out, when she was
Yeah, years, 100 years ago.
yeah, 100 years ago, and she's still just rolling out new ideas.
It's the truth. It's the truth. You know
Yeah.
what? It's the truth. You know what? It's just like sometimes you just got it in you. You just got to get it out.
Yeah, there you go. Oh.
Oh my goodness, Lucy, this was so much fun. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your taking the time to be on the show and have these conversations with me. It's just been outstanding. I thank you. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, Luann. Well, I'll tell you, when we met and the energy was electric, I figured we'd have, I don't know what we're going to say, but we're going to have fun on this. So thank you. And I've loved listening to all your great podcasts. And so fun opportunity for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know about you, but I could listen to Lucy speak for hours about what she does and why she does it. It's contagious, her passion for it. Look, you started this business, this interior design business, for a reason. We're here, though, to run a well designed business. We're here to make money. We're here probably to call our own shots and be the boss. It's all important. There's nothing wrong with any of it. I'm here for all of that too. That's why I started this podcast. But sometimes it's nice to think about what your designs mean for your clients and what you're doing and bringing them beyond the pretty. When I hear Lucy speak about design, I can feel it, her passion, her drive, her true creative artistic soul. It's beautiful, it's moving, it's inspiring. But I really want you to understand is that it's not an either or. Everything that Lucy is talking about, this depth of what she brings to the table for her clients, the exploration and the creativity of all the inspired thinking that allows her to create something special and unique for each and every one of her clients, isn't separate from the profitability. It's not separate from having a well designed business. They go hands in hand. Okay. When you understand what you're doing on the level that Lucy does and are able to articulate it to your clients, you are proving your value every time you speak, every time you interact, and certainly every time you create a design, you show a presentation, you reveal the work of art you've brought into a client's home. This is how you stand in your worth. That's how you become irreplaceable. That's how you carve out for yourself that you are never competing with anyone else. It's beyond a well-designed business. It's a business with heart, soul, inspiration, and motivation. And when you do that, there is no second guessing your prices. There is no waffling or compromising. There is no taking on problem clients or letting clients walk all over you. There is you, an expert, providing a service based on expertise, on passion, and on unmatched talent. Because no one can match your talent. No one. This is a level that I want you to be at. I can teach you how to systemize. I can teach you how to outsource. I can teach you how to streamline. But this part is on you. You have to want it and you have to commit to it. I remember my conversation with Darrell Long in episode 587, where he shared how design is so much more than Pinterest images. He discussed his creative process in detail, mentioning looking at works of art down to detailed brushstrokes as part of his inspiration. And I remember thinking the same thing then. Not this designer is unmatched. Not, wow, this is why he's made it and newer designers are struggling. None of that. What I thought was, this designer knows his value. That's the key. It's in knowing what you have to offer and standing confidently and securely in it. This isn't about taking Lucy's words, her process that aligns with her vision and her authentic self, and folding it into your business. It's about you spending the time to reflect on what you do, what you bring to the table, what your creative process and inspirations are, and how you carve out a streamlined process that aligns with who you are, what you offer, what you do, and how you operate. That will lead to the business you want, one based on passion that creates profitability, right? Thank you, Lucy, for this delightful episode. I am 100% sure our paths are going to cross again. You are amazing. All right. Thank you, too, for listening today. I appreciate you so much. Decide to be excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of Luann Nigara, Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or Luann University, go to luannnigara.com. And if you are interested in having WindowWorks help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to windowworksnj.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.